All right, it is inflation week. It is time for us to talk about CPI, PPI, really understand if what Jerome Powell and many of the Fed presidents are talking about is going to happen. Will summer be the return of inflation? We will talk about that, other key economic metrics. We will talk about the July 9th deadline for tariffs, that and much, much more. But before we get started, I actually want to talk about an exciting statistic that I read over the weekend. And that is the fact that in 2024, in the United States of America, we created 379,000 new millionaires. Folks, if you want to do some very quick math, that means more than 1,000 people, new millionaires. Folks, that is one of those statistics that makes me smile. Again, I believe that one rental at a time is a channel, a movement built on building wealth. We don't give up. We know it's hard. We know it's a process. We know the first 5 years suck. But the formula to getting rich is remarkably simple. You own assets, preferably assets that cash flow, and you own them for a long time. I mean, simply said, that is it. Again, 379,000 millionaires created in 2024. That is over 1,000 a day. And in fact, I bet you didn't know this, but there is just about 24 million millionaires in the United States. 24 millionaires in the United States. So again, folks, don't let anybody tell you it's not possible. Don't believe the doom, the fear, all of that nonsense. That is just a bunch of either broke people or porn creators of fear. Don't believe it. That is the movement that I'm getting behind. I just really love the fact that 379,000 new millionaires will created. I will say, if you want to be negative, if you flip back and look at 1975 and you compare it to 2025, this stat will once again tell you that inflation is a feature, not a bug. What am I talking about? $1 million in 2025 equals $165,000 in 1975. Yes, in 1975, 165 grand was equivalent to $1 million today, folks. Inflation is a feature, not a bug. Yes, you right there listening to this, you can use inflation or you can get used by inflation. If you don't own assets, you're going to get used. It is just that simple. Let's talk about the week ahead. We do got some critical economic data coming up that we need to be paying attention to, mainly inflation. Starts off hot and heavy on Tuesday. We will once again get CPI, Consumer Price Index. We will get headline. We will get core. We will also get New York State Manufacturing Survey, which was frankly ugly last month. I think it was like -16, contraction, big contraction. We'll see if there's any turnaround in that. But again, inflation's the big deal. We were scared of the inflation boogeyman last month. It did not show up. We shall see. Jerome Powell has told us repeatedly that inflation is coming over the summer, and we will see the first signs of that on Tuesday. Follow that up by PPI on Wednesday. Again, PPI might be the one part of the equation where inflation is coming. If you looked under the surface in PPI last month, although the headline numbers were kind of meh, there was some goods inflation inside PPI. It was just masked by a deflation in services. So again, we must pay attention to what is coming down the pipeline. We will also get the Fed Beige Book that comes out in the afternoon. That's going to be important. Like, I want to know what Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller were saying last meeting. They've obviously come out this meeting saying that a July rate cut was possible. I don't think so at this point, given how strong jobs were last week. But it'll be interesting to see if there was any talk of a July rate cut. And we will see that. Actually, no, that's in the Fed minutes. My mistake. The Fed Beige Book, I apologize, is a summary of the 18 districts. So are the 18 districts growing, shrinking, all of that? Again, I made a mistake. This is the Beige Book, not the meeting minutes. So the Beige Book, what is going on across the country? I believe last month, 11 of the 18 were contracting slightly. So are we seeing improvement, whatnot? So we will look at that. Thursday, we will get weekly claims. Again, weekly claims gave us a little scare about 3 weeks ago as it had a trend up. It is now reversed with multiple weeks in a row coming in. But it is something we have to pay attention to. Continuing claims is the problem. We're knocking on the door of 2 million. Again, I don't know that there's a big problem unless it's like 3 million. But getting over that hurdle, anytime there's kind of that even number, it can be market moving. So we'll have to pay attention to that. We will get retail sales as well. What's going on with the consumer? Again, we have been preaching uncertainty for the last 90 days. Is retail sales going to be our first sign that uncertainty is clearing, or is that next month? We will also get home builder confidence. What's going on there? Again, home builders seem to be contracting. There's lots of inventory available. So again, it would make sense that they are not confident. And on Friday, what's going on with housing starts? And finally, consumer sentiment. Lots of stuff going on there. I do want to talk about our school community because here in about 24 minutes, we are going to go live with the one and only Derek, that ADU guy. Again, a couple weeks ago, we heard from Thatch, who says that ADUs are the new Bitcoin, at least in real estate speak. It is the path to becoming millionaires. So we're going to have the best of the best talk about ADUs, Derek, and we're going to see what's going on in his world. And it's always fun to catch up with my boy. Also, if you are in school, I loaded the first day of our last Vegas event. If you ever want to see what our Vegas events are all about, it is there inside school. I need to load day 2, but day 1 is there, which includes folks like Graham Stephan. Yes, Graham Stephan was our keynote last year. Lisa Sutton, a tremendous inspirational story of a lawyer turned entrepreneur. And of course, you've got the one and only Dion, who was, wow, Dion was way sick last year when he did that. I can't believe he struggled through that. It was a great show of grit to give that presentation when he was clearly under the weather. And we can't not mention the kickoff, which was the lumberjack landlord and his wife, Ashley. Ashley, frankly, stole the show, was a highlight, and all of that is now available because we crossed 400 students, and it's free. All you got to do is be a part of school. Since we're talking about school, we should welcome Andrew, Anson, and Alex. 3 new members in the last 24 hours. Don't forget, folks, if you want to try before you buy, you can reach out to Mark the Financial Firefighter on Instagram or YouTube and get your first month reimbursed. I think we've got about 28 or so spots left. If you wanted to try before you buy, reach out to Mark. He will help you with that. What else do we got? Let's talk about Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio, the ultimate bear. He's been warning about this impending doom coming for decades. The empire is going to collapse, according to Ray. He is talking about after Trump's big, beautiful bill, which was signed on 4th of July, we are set up for spending cuts, major spending cuts, major tax increases, and massive money printing. Ray Dalio says we are set up for an economic heart attack. That does not sound fun. When I think about all of these, really, I think we have learned time and time again that the way the system is set up, they like to spend. So I suspect that inflation will be the answer to all of this. And back to the beginning of the story, 379 millionaires created own assets that cash flow. Inflation's a feature, not a bug. You can hate the game, don't hate the player, right? If you know the rules, that's the game. According to Ray, we are spending 40% more than we take in. Again, who knows what's coming with the big, beautiful bill? Could it be $3 trillion in over a decade? Or will we get what the president and Scott Bessent and others have promised, 3% growth, and perhaps grow our way out of this? One can only hope. Allianz chief economist Ludwig Cerberon must be watching this channel. Of course, I kid. But he says that uncertainty has peaked in April and May and now is fading away. Folks, you can go back and watch our content. I was telling you the same exact thing. Now we will start to see again on what day is it? Thursday, if retail sales has started to perk up or if we are a month away. Again, very, very interesting. Lance Lambert had a featured article in Fast Company. Shout out, Lance. New single-family homes have hit the highest level since 2009. Lennar CEO, this year is weaker than expected. I love the fact that Lance gets access to these CEOs. It's really, really awesome. Buyer incentives are even, we have this is according to Lennar CEO, we have buyer incentives even in strong markets. If you look at their financial statements, according to some CNBC articles I read, in Q2, they had 13.3% incentives to sell a home. Ouch. That is going to hit margins. According to President Trump, we are on the cusp of 12 countries. Actually, let me take it to 18. I got new updates this morning. 18 nations. 18 nations are on the cusp of tariff deals. Again, I think we've only done 2, UK and Vietnam. Obviously, the July 9th deadline is right around the corner. If it's true and we got 18 nations moving, apparently that is 95% of the trade deficit. According to Scott Bessent this morning on Bloomberg, 100 smaller nations will get base tariffs starting August 1st. Okay, sounds good. Again, we will see where all of this goes. I do want to talk about something, just kind of have an honest reflection with you. If you've been on my channel for a long, long time, you noticed something about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, where I chose on purpose to take my titles and make them negative. I did that because I kept getting coaching, and specifically a conversation with Graham Stephan. Graham Stephan looked at my YouTube metrics and he said, Zuber, you need to grow your audience, because when you look at my channel, 75% of the views are all my people. You guys come back, you show up, you come back every time, and I love you for that. But in order to grow a channel, according to Graham, that metric needs to be 50-50. You have your loyal fans, and then you bringing in new people. According to Graham Stephan, I should take a more negative approach, feed the doom loop. So I did that, and you saw it. Unfortunately, well, let me take it back. So again, I did that. It was my choice. I assume 100% responsibility. I am not blaming anybody. I did it. Let's be very, very clear. And frankly, it worked. For 4 or 5 weeks, my channel grew faster than normal. We had more views than normal. However, as somebody who still responds to each and every comment, I did not like what I saw. I did not like what I saw in the comments. What I had done inadvertently was grow by attracting the wrong person. What I started to attract with all these negative headlines were people that I don't want to associate with. I do not want to be around people who give up. I do not want to be around people who blame others. I do not want to be around people who don't understand simple math. And this kept coming and coming and growing and growing. And again, I was getting more subs. I was getting more views. YouTube money was increasing and increasing dramatically. But to me, it was poison. I do not want to be around those people. So you've probably noticed in the last 3 to 5 days, no more negative headlines. There might be 1 or 2 that will come up week to week, but that was normal even back years ago. I refuse to feed negativity. I do not want to be around people who give up. I want to be around wealth builders. And if that means my channel doesn't grow, so be it. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for putting up with my trial. Many of you noticed it and commented and said, what the hell are you doing? There's the story. And I appreciate you sticking with me while I just had to try this new thing. It won't happen again, or at least won't happen again for a long time. Sometimes I forget, but hey, there we go. The other thing you should notice is as of yesterday morning, I am down 35 pounds on my health journey. Remember on January 1st, I was obese and fat and disgusting. And I am now down 35 pounds on the scale. I'm up about 8 pounds of muscle. And as of this morning, we're back to 12.5% body fat, right? The goal for me is to get to 9.9. So in 6 months, we lost 35 pounds of fat, or actually 35 pounds on the scale. We actually lost 43 pounds of fat. We added 8 pounds of muscle. And I am feeling really, really good. If you want to get on a health journey, it's really simple, folks. I would tell anybody, all you have to do is add 2,000 steps to whatever your average is. If you average 4,000, do 6. If you average 6, do 8. If you average 2, do 4. Whatever it is. Simply by walking 2,000 steps a day more, you will lose weight. If you want to increase those chances, step 2 is focus on eating protein. I try to eat 180 grams of protein. I max my calories at 1,900. So I will eat whatever I want if it fits my macros and my calories. And then lastly, if you really want to step on the gas, you need to weight train. You need to get some hypertrophy training 3 or 4 times a week. It doesn't have to be long, 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes. But that is the formula. That is what I've been doing for 6 months. Let's do a couple of things and we will wrap up today. I guess let's talk about Elon Musk announcing a new political party, America Party. Well, I got to tell you, I like that name, the America Party. That's a pretty good title versus Democrat or Republican. But it'll be very interesting to me. The America Party, will it attract more Democrats or more Republicans? Will it be just a nothing burger? Who knows? But again, there is a new political party announced by the richest man on the planet. We will talk about the Fed this week a bunch, given inflation week. They are in a tight spot. The fear is if they cut, inflation restarts. If the Fed doesn't cut, we go into recession. This week will be interesting. Goldman Sachs out was the really big update. Goldman Sachs saying we now see 3 cuts this year. 3 cuts this year, followed by 2 more cuts next year. The Goldman Sachs says the Fed is going to 3%, folks, 3%, which I thought was interesting. All righty, folks, we will wrap that up. Don't forget to check out Steadily. Steadily is landlord insurance. If you are a landlord or a prospective landlord, you need to get quotes. Insurance is very, very expensive these days. Steadily gets a chance on every single property of mine when it comes up for renewal. Most recently, they just saved me $1,000, $900. Let's not exaggerate. $900, $918 to be exact, on a 4-plex. If you're new and you're building your buy box and you're building your spreadsheets, I suggest going to Steadily just to put in an address that you like, just to see, just so you have an accurate number of what is going on. Folks, give Steadily a try. See if they can help. They don't help every time. I've had several quotes where my existing insurance was cheaper and better. But like I said earlier, they have helped me on numerous occasions, and they get a shot each and every time. Go ahead and click the link in the description, start the process, and see if they can help you. It is actually remarkably quick to get a quote. Again, check out Steadily. I will see you inside school in about 11 minutes now. We're going to talk with Derek, that ADU guy. Like, subscribe, comment. Reach out to Mark, the financial firefighter, to get your first month free. Later, everyone. Bye.